A Light Within Darkness Chapter 95, Fan Fiction by Azazyel. There was a tense silence as Ellesmere, Isha, and I sat in one of the thoroughly sealed rooms of the Sect buildings. As we were processing the Aeldari god of death Ynnead's desire for the life force of my spawn within Isha's womb. Just another godlike being a complete monster honestly. I thought with much of my hot anger had faded away into apathetic fury that wouldn't flare up without seeing Yvraine, most likely. Isha on the other end, though. She was sitting there silently with a hand held protectively across her womb, and knowing the Aeldari mythology as I did. I knew she was seeing this as another Eldar god wanting to steal away her children or otherwise severing contact with said children, just as Cain went mad, and eventually Asuryan blocked off the connection between the Eldar gods and their mortal followers due to the war god slaughtering Eldar. Finally, though Ellesmere broke the silence as she spoke softly but firmly. We cannot fight them off as of now. My lips twitched at the blunt reminder that the massive assembly of space marines, including Guilliman's flagship in the Makrich's honor, along with many Aeldari ships, were also in orbit as escorts. For the important figures of Robut Guilliman and Yvraine as they came here in force. To say the least, Guilliman's flagship was stacked with powerful shields and had all the damned exterminatus weapons he could desire, and I bet he had all 5 variants of planetary destruction available in the ship. Disregarding the fact that I couldn't beat Guilliman in a straight fight at all, as this wasn't Armageddon with the loose souls and spiritual echoes of countless billions of lives lost in the area for me to use as fuel for powerful spells. But not even the Sect had enough energy could resist the bombardment of the ships. Though it's not like we didn't take these possibilities into consideration when Ellesmere and I created the Sect. I won't be going to the Emperor period, I said bluntly as I folded my arms over my chest and shuddered as I could all too well see my future should I land in the hands of that megalomaniac that will seek to drain me of all my secrets to fuel his conquest of the galaxy. I mean, sure, I was also, humanity fuck yeah. But his idea of human supremacy was himself firmly at the top and all others being subservient to him. Isha spoke then with her soft voice, carrying a tiredness that I only heard when I opened the doors to her cage and she thought I was just someone else trying to use her. The Sect evacuation plan, then. I approve of it, but where would the Sect go? She asked simply, and I grimaced as to say the least. Warhammer 40k was typically utterly ass no matter where the hell we went to. But right now, the God Emperor of mankind was the biggest issue as his eye was on me. Better to let chaos, orcs, and the rising numbers of Tyranids recapture his mind while we fade into the background. In the end, besides using the maelstrom of chaos as a shield to block his sight, I had one other idea. Simple distance plus multiple chaos storms blocking his view between us from Terra. The eastern fringes, more specifically north of the Ultramare realm in the territory of the Sotek dynasty and also north of the growing Tau Empire. The Tau can be counted to be at least neutral, and honestly, I imagine they would also make great admission to the Sect, especially once a disciple's cultivation reaches beyond the mental conditioning the leaders of the Tau Confederation heap onto their people. I muttered as I traced my finger along a circular holographic map that projected a large sphere of the galaxy. At this point, I was strong enough that I could open semi-portals into the warp to leak chaotic energies into the Sect's ground to be refined into spiritual energy by the Sect's golden sun formation. So, although this planet was damn near perfect with its decent distance from the maelstrom, which allowed stupidly dense spiritual energy to fill the surroundings of the Sect, with the sun working hard to clean out the chaotic energy and shadows of demons. We didn't really have much of a choice besides using the escape formation that I put into the very foundation of the Sect when I first built it. So akin to the Dark Angels, rock in a major space hulk flying through space, or closer to an Eldar craft world, the Sect would pull 1,000 suns and just teleport away from this planet, with the mountain range the Sect was built upon being ripped out as we teleported away. Before we do this, do we have any other choice? Should we go somewhere else instead? I asked, trying to get opinions on what other options we had. And Ellesmere bluntly spoke. Jake, we cannot outfight them with the measures we currently have. You will obviously refuse to go with the son of Ultramar, and would die before allowing Yvraine to take your future child from your wife's womb. So, in the absence of fighting, we have no choice but to relocate. Ellesmere's face went soft as she chuckled softly and said with a small smile. Just like before, when you saved me from the hive world, being infected by genostealers, and of course, leading us away from that sister of battle. We can make our lives easily enough elsewhere, my love. She finished, and I took a breath before nodding in acceptance. Isha had one thing to say, though, and as she said it, my face twitched as I was reminded that there was nothing worse than a woman, and especially a mother, being scorned, as her words would lead to great turmoil, most likely.